Our city is no stranger to crime. In the past 2 years alone, as new, more advanced criminal organizations have set their sights on our streets, homicides have spiked to record numbers. It is in these difficult times that our city must come together and stand up against those who wish to do us harm. A quote from our now former mayor who was gunned down on the steps of City Hall just 4 days ago. I am joined tonight by our city's newest crime fighter, Detective Nick Terry. Detective, how are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Detective, it's my understanding that the mayor brought you in to help clean up the city just before his untimely demise. Can you shed some light on the situation?
Mayor Reynolds saw fit to hire me in to help manage a task force being developed by the city's police department in an effort to help quell any safety concerns our citizens may have.
So the department does know about the rising criminal activity then?
The police department has not issued any statement acknowledging a dangerous rise in criminal activity, but as we do live in a larger city and times are tough for a lot of people, we want to make sure that peace and order are being maintained at a more than satisfactory level.
So the concerns about the rising organized crime element are unfounded?
There is no...
Are you trying to tell our viewers, Detective, that there is no real threat out there? Our city's mayor was murdered in cold blood for standing up against these criminals, and you're going to tell people that this isn't a problem?
There is crime everywhere, Miss Jennings, and for me to sit here and try to tell your viewers otherwise would be insulting to their intelligence. We simply want to guarantee them that there is no immediate danger on the horizon.
And I'm curious, I had initially invited Commissioner Mays on the show. Why did he not make an effort to appear and to guarantee viewers the same thing? Why were you sent?
Commissioner Mays is a busy man.
And you're not?
And I volunteered to make an appearance on his behalf because I believe that our citizens have every right to know exactly what their peacekeepers are doing.
So the Commissioner's no-show has nothing to do with the recent accusations that he took bribes and was recorded having private discussions with known criminals?
I can't speak on that. Quite frankly, it's none of my business. That's something for the Commissioner, the DA, and the tabloids to take care of. I'm here to talk about public safety.
So a corrupt police commissioner doesn't threaten public safety in your eyes?
Again, I have nothing to say on it.
Some have said that your view on our city's matters is questionable at best. That because you're not from here and because you're so young, you're not the right man for the job. What would you say to these people?
I'd say that age doesn't dictate capability. Am I young, relatively speaking? Absolutely. But I'm more than capable of doing my duty for this city. As to the matter of whether or not I'm from around here, I'll just raise this point. I read an article recently in the Tribune that said something like 74% of people polled believe that there was major corruption to be found in this city with regards to the people who were supposed to be defending civilians. In fact, you've raised such a point with our commissioner. So if close to 8 out of every 10 civilians believe that cops and lawmakers and the like can't be trusted, I would say what better way to solve that problem than to bring in some fresh blood. Turn to somebody outside the confines of this supposed corruption.
So you're saying there is corruption?
I am not saying that at all, and I would kindly ask you to stop trying to put words in my mouth. You're not going to get me to trip over myself, Miss Jennings. I'm not one of the pop stars or C-list celebrities that can usually be found on your show, and yes, I do watch your show sometimes. But if you want facts, I am happy to present them to you to the best of my ability, but I will not sit here with you in front of these cameras and be mocked or insulted.
And what about this supposed vigilante?
What about him?
In the past 2 months, more and more reports of a hooded man have been coming to light. Reported sightings of him traversing over rooftops in extraordinary ways. Others say he disappears and reappears with the shadows like a ghost. These reports are quickly becoming tall tales.
The person or persons you're referring to have not yet been apprehended, no. But we are very aware of the situation and are working diligently to discern fact from fiction at this point.
And is it true that this vigilante, some referring to him as a hero, only attacks criminals and has actually been known to stop criminal activity before the police arrived? I believe one report even said that he stopped an armed robbery and had time to get a little girl's cat from a tree.
2 things. Number 1, when I first came to town, there were several things that were made public knowledge. One of which was average police response time. The average response time in this city was atrocious, at nearly 30 minutes even for major calls, and that was unacceptable. As I said, I've been working closely with veteran police force members to try and improve upon that statistic, and we have. We've cut it down by more than 1/3 in just under 4 months, so it's getting better. Number 2, the this person or persons, again, is not a hero. A civilian taking the law into his own hands is not someone to be applauded, it's someone to be reprimanded. More often than not, these actions will lead to more harm than good. They're nothing but trouble, and I guarantee you they will be caught the first time they slip up. I'll just say this: don't put your faith in the actions of a Lone Ranger. Trust that your police department and your civil servants are working around the clock to ensure your safety.
All right, well, that's all we have time for tonight, Detective Terry. Thank you very much for coming by. And to our audience, please tune in next week as we meet Stark City Network's Student of the Year. Good night.